Daggone people. Well, I'm on the fence on this one. This is if I just show you the clip and don't give you any information, it's going to look like it's totally unjustified. Let's take a look. I want you to watch all these cops come out of nowhere. I counted over 50, probably more. Long time firing. I gotta guess over 200 rounds at a minimum were fired.
Oh my gosh, look at those.
Like I said, I tried to count. I think I got around 50, and they were still showing up. You can tell all the bald-headed cops, they don't have hats on. See all the baldies? There was a gang. It's a good movie. The Baldies. That wasn't the name of the movie. The Warriors was the name of the movies. So, this many cops. Quick, somebody tell me who's in charge. Somebody tell me who has authority, who has control of this scene. Tell me who's looking out for the public to make sure no public is getting hurt. Who's looking out for crossfires? You know, everybody wants to always, you're lasering somebody. How many thinks these cops lasered each other and everybody in this city? I mean, when I first saw this, I was like, are you freaking kidding me? What the hell did this guy do? I mean, you got to figure each cop that fired anywhere from 4 to 6, 10 rounds, and there's over 50 cops there. I'd be real interested to know how many rounds were fired. I mean, this is pretty outrageous when you talk about the government's going to tell you you should give up your guns. This is what government wants you to think. Every time you call 911, this is what will happen. You'll have all this government here to help you. Well, hopefully there wasn't a hostage in the car. Hopefully there wasn't a child in the back seat on the floorboard. Hopefully there was nobody in this building that happened to be looking out the window. I mean, this was just crazy. And I talk about sympathetic fire. Remember, sympathetic fire is when officers fire when they don't see a threat. They merely fire because other officers are firing. That's not authorized, it's unjustified, and you can't do it. Everyone is responsible for justifying their own force. Now, I guarantee you, after I tell you what the incident is here, every officer is going to say, I shot to defend other officers and the public. So, let's see what else happened here. So, let's take a look at the news report on this.
Tonight, a harrowing crime spree ending in a hail of gunfire. Tense moments for Salt Lake City police closing in on a gunman suspected of robbing multiple businesses, then wildly spraying shots during a chase across the city.
Okay, so we have armed robbery, which is a felony. He is a fleeing felon. Can you shoot somebody for just being a fleeing felon? No. He has to be a dangerous fleeing felon. You can't shoot somebody for committing bank fraud or, they bought Wall Street stock and sold it due to, private information they shouldn't have had and they made $1 million. That's a felony, but you can't shoot them for fleeing. They have to be a danger to the public. So is armed robbery? Yes, that makes him a dangerous fleeing felon. The fact that he's shooting wildly into the crowd, that makes him a dangerous fleeing felon. He could hit people in the street. Was he more of a danger than 50 cops firing wildly? I don't know. I'm thinking government was more of a danger. But let's finish hearing it out.
You gotta get up there and shoot this guy. He's a danger to everybody.
All right, I want to go back over that.
Truck
Let's hear this again.
We gotta get up there and shoot this guy. He's a danger to everybody.
To a white pickup truck and took off, giving
Shoot this guy. He's a danger to everybody.
I keep hitting the wrong button, sorry. Okay, so one guy puts out on the radio, we have to get up there and shoot this guy. He's a danger to everybody. This is an interesting legal dilemma because every cop out there is going to say, especially if this guy's a sergeant or lieutenant or in the chain of command, they're going to say that we had justification to shoot because we were told to shoot this guy and he was a danger to everybody. And because of the rapidly evolving incident, we couldn't stop and question. We couldn't confirm that information. We had a right to believe what our sergeant, because there's already, case law out there that says cops have a right to believe what other cops tell them. Even if it's wrong, even if the cop tells you something and it turns out being wrong, if you believed it and acted on that, you're covered. So are all these cops covered just because this guy said this? Interesting legal question. I don't think so, but, government's going to protect government, so of course they're all going to be covered, one way or the other.
The suspect hopped into a white pickup truck and took off, giving chase while leaning out of the vehicle's window with a rifle, firing at police.
Okay, so he's shooting at police in a vehicle. If he misses them, he's a danger to cops, he's a danger to others. If a guy is going to run and rob banks and shoot at police following him, is anybody going to argue that he's not really a danger? Now, it hasn't been put out what color this guy is, because everything will change if that comes out, because we know there's two sets of laws on that. So let's just see where this goes.
Wild chase even caught on Utah traffic cameras. Somewhere in all the chaos, one officer was struck.
All right, you notice how they said somewhere in the chaos one officer struck? Notice how they didn't say the armed robber who was shooting at the cops hit a cop. They slowly slid that in there to little misinformation for the people not paying attention. An officer was shot. Oh, man, that guy shot him. No. I guarantee you. The officer that was shot was probably shot by one of these crazy cops shooting like the Wild Wild West at the OK Corral.
Thankfully, only a minor injury. The suspect would then lose control, slamming into a nearby building, finally surrounded and killed. A dramatic ending to a dangerous day in the streets of Salt Lake City.
A dangerous day. You want to know who made this a dangerous day more than one guy with a rifle? 50 cops with rifles and guns shooting at a store that you don't know, you haven't cleared, you don't know if there's any innocent people there. You have people walking on the streets, and you have these cops firing multitude of rounds. I can see a couple shots fired. I can see maybe 5 officers firing 1 or 2 rounds. I could see a couple people shooting and seeing if the guy was moving, but this was pretty outrageous on the number of rounds and the uncontrolled wildfire of cops and the multitude of cops that did this. I mean, this is why citizens should fear government and the police. Who is more of a danger? Who are you more likely to be killed by? I can't believe I'm saying this in this country. I was a cop for 30 years. I'm telling you, man, it didn't used to be this way. Part of this is the quota hiring, the hiring of substandards, the lowering of IQs in order to get hired, the hiring people for any other reasons other than their standards. You can't enforce standards. Once you hire quota hires, you can't get rid of them or hold them. Otherwise, you're called mean names by the left, and then you back down and cry and wilt in the corner because you don't want to be called a name. So you allow this mentality of just out-of-control cops to grow, fester, and this is what you get. This is outrageous to me. I don't care if he was shooting. Some sergeant should have went, we got too many officers. We don't need this many. Why do we have this many? How many violations did these cops commit? Running red lights, running people off the road, scaring the crap out of people. I mean, this is pretty outrageous. I know the cops are going to come here. Rick, you don't know. He was a dangerous thing. If they'd have let him go, he could have shot somebody. These cops could have shot 50 people. They were out of control. But, hey, argue it out in the comments. That's my opinion. That's my stance. Well, in that there.